From Glenfair Lanes in Glendale, we're here for the title matches of today's JBT event. Mixed it up format, one of our favorites today. After the normal 5 games of singles, the top scratch and the top handicap bowler become a doubles team, and so on down the line, forming some doubles duos that we would never ordinarily see. This is the the second-seeded team of Ryan Perry and Sean Sang opening up with the strike in the first frame. They survived a 1-pin win in the semifinal over Brian Van Sickle and Alejandro Aragon, and they are getting 5 pins a handicap in this match. Remember, it's a scratch and a handicap bowler, so the team gets the handicap bowler's pins, half the difference at least, since they're teaming up to bowl 1 game in Baker here. So Sean's going to do all the odd-numbered frames, and Ryan's going to do all the even frames. A chance to get an early lead for his team if he can consolidate with the strike. And he does with a tremendous break. Now, Ryan, we did something else off camera. Would you like to try it again? I, Ryan Perry.
I, Ryan Perry, solemnly swear.
Sometimes get good breaks. That's right. Here's a guy we've seen a lot on camera lately, Lucas Rabb. Won his first singles title. Had a excellent yet nightmarish finish in the doubles event in December. He'd like to get a doubles win on his resume as well. 3 total titles for him as he comes in a little light. He was telling me before his match that he was kind of playing the same area where Brian Van Sickle played, which is that little bit of fade, which is interesting because we're on Cheetah, and it was a tough Cheetah. Cheetah is definitely the most misunderstood animal pattern, because we all remember seeing those Cheetah shows that looked at least walled up on TV, and they were, all averaging 260s and unlimited bump off the corner. They have changed that pattern to eliminate the bump, or at least minimize the bump, and it's still short and flat between the 6 boards on either side. So you have the short pattern strategies, but you can't just blindly throw it to the friction on the outside because it ain't there, and the topography here at Glenfair magnifies that. The outside, the track is really burnt, and the outsides don't hook as much compared to the track, so you get a really nasty look on something like Cheetah. That led to a very low cut score today in both divisions. You really had to make good shots and grind it out. However, some of the higher rev rate players balled extremely down and did one of those 3rd and 4th arrow fades. He's saying essentially doing that too, and they found enough length to make that happen. You got to really not tug the ball. You got to trust that ball if you're going to play that area of the lane. Brian said that was as far left as he's ever played with urethane. I'll give you some idea how short and flat it is in the middle. All that said, very good shot by Sang, and it should be a good shot by Sang. We'll watch the spare attempt first. Nicely done, because he got to pick this pattern. Back at Let It Roll, we had sort of a prize wheel. He spun the prize wheel and he won the prize, or you got to pick the pattern at an upcoming JBT event. This is his home house. He must know how Cheetah was going to play in this house, so he was comfortable having a grind out sort of tournament, and lo and behold, here he is in the title game. So worked out very, very well for him. Just one of the perks of bowling a lot of tournaments. Ryan, who has had success in all formats of JBT, won the doubles with his dad, is a Harley Kryptonite to win a couple of his singles titles, and had some handicap wins before that. Quietly a increasingly successful career, right on the borderline of all conference top 12. Nicely done at the 4-pin out of both teammates. They got 68 through 3, and Lucas can get his team up to 67 through 3 if he can make it a double with his first strike in the 4th frame. They get to choose which lane they'll be on. Of course, that means that one teammate does all the odd frames on one lane, and the partner will do all the even frames on the other lane. You get 2 balls of practice before the match, so you really got to use those 2 balls wisely and make some educated guesses off of them, because 5 frames goes by fast. pristine style of Lucas. But something done went wrong there, and look out. How many times do you get 4 from that spot? Check that out. The 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. How did the ball chop through there? Yuck. Well, the good thing is he's on a strike, so he lost no count off that 4. The bad thing is, A, he didn't win Powerball on that shot, and B, that's a mess. But as washouts go, washouts, you know, even if there's extra pins, they're not much trickier than other washouts. It's essentially the same strategy. See if he can pick it up. It'll be fun looking. It's close. Yeah! I would go so far as to wager that is Lucas Rab's first career 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 conversion. Keeping composed about it because I think he's disappointed with the first ball there. Clifford not only having a heck of a season, but he's in the middle of his hottest streak of the season. By his count, he's made 19 consecutive cuts. That's extraordinarily tough to do in the handicap division because in general, when you make a cut, your average goes up. But the thing is, Clifford's been getting better and better faster than his average has been getting higher and higher, and that is a absolute direct path to success in a handicap tournament club, and good for him. Has passed up Dawson to now be second in all conference points. Dawson and his teammate Brock Bivens finished up in 5th today, so even though Dawson top 5, he's going to lose a little ground to Clifford here. That's frustrating. That's a nice job with the spare. Clifford came out of the gate hard and fast today, easily leading after a few games before falling down to the number 3 seed after 5 games, then climb back up to the top seed there after 8. Now another good break, breaking up the 6, 7, 10 to leave only the 6 on 12. Everybody here's got a title. Clifford 1, Ryan on 5, Sean's got 2 of them, and Lucas a 3-time champion. So he still shoots 200 at the spares, but picks up a plastic ball over very little friction. Oh, he needs some friction right there, though. He slides by it. It's the first open by either team. Essentially ties up the match on the scoreboard, but again, Ryan and Sean are getting those 5 pins, so they still lead, but by less. Statistical anomaly, Brock got paired with Dawson today, and they were the 2 U17 finalists. So they went from partners to mortal enemies in the U17 match, and I know I've used this line before, but Brock won that match and got so excited that half his hair fell out. It was only the hair on that side and that side. The hair in the middle is okay. There we go. Abby Franklin won the girls match today with a 10-pin win over Stephanie Tuala. Stephanie still continuing her dominance of the Arizona girls, but this time Abby caught that win. They've had a lot of close matches over years and girls, and look out, not even close from Ryan that time. Knew it when he threw it there. As a back-to-back spare gaffes from Sang and Perry take them from the lead to trailing. Ryan is an emotional player, and he is not happy with himself right now. Well, Lucas kind of started all this mess with this 4-count washout. Let's see if he can end it and get back here in the 1-3. Posted that shot much nicer. Wow. Jeez. Gonna try and make it out here on tour? Throw such a better shot. After the washout the last frame, everything looked better physically, the way it went down the lane. And you're rewarded with a solid 9, and it actually hurts his team more than the 4-count because the 4-count was on a strike. Here he's on a spare. So with the 4 spare, he lost nothing. With the 9, he loses 1 pin for his team. They'll lead by 10 and give 5 of that back. If he can convert the 9 and look out, that's close. Woo! Boy, perhaps some mid-game jitters here all of a sudden. This 3 in a row iffy spare balls. At least Lucas's ball hit the 9 pin. Clifford and Sean will be making appearances with yellow scorecards next year, no question about that. Right now they're in a points race, so never know if every shot could end up being huge in July when this thing all ends. And there's the break of the match so far. It's easy to go Brooklyn on Cheetah, and he tugged that far enough to make it. And he did so good, his shirt exploded and dribbled all over him. All over himself.
He's a color wheel.
Rather conservative there. Oh, Sean probably wanted that pin to stand up. They're on an open a little bit harder with the 310. Yeah, this is somewhat conservative for William today. It was now hidden behind. Yeah. We hope Clifford will get over this and wear something a little more exciting tomorrow. I'm sure he will. Right now, Singh's got to focus. It's Saturday night. It's loud in here and cover up this 310. Wow. Oh! I'm surprised he didn't switch to the plastic. Then it looked like he was going to make it the hard way. Then he doesn't. And that's a buzzard. 3 opens in a row for Singh and Perry. It's noisy. It's Saturday night, and the open play's doing what open play's supposed to do. Have fun. There's no reshot for that. They have to utterly focus on their own fair lane and their task at hand. As they now trail by 20. Good shot. Oh, look at this! Well, it's been a roller coaster of good events and bad events. I won't say the B word and call them breaks, but he's had some good events and bad events in this game. That is another good event as he breaks up what would have at least been trouble into 10 down. Now here's Rab. His team leads by 21 and has the extra 5 pins. Sorry, giving the 5 pins, so it's 16 overall. Again, doesn't lose any count, but unable to consolidate that lead by striking up. As he has yet to strike in this game. All the strikes belong to his partner, Sean. That's the thing, he was watching this pair very closely. Found a really interesting look over on the practice pair and was watching this pair to see if it would play just as well as it did over there. Hard and straight, almost a little backup ball at the spare. That's good fundamentals. Nice job at the spare.
That's what I did all day, just getting spares, never really doubled, right?
Let's see if Clifford can hold him up. Had the runaway Brooklyn last time. Had a good strike in the 3rd. Would dearly love to find some way to record an X in the 9th. He doesn't care if he hits the 7 pin. As long as we don't make him play 4 pin clover, he'll be good. No. Well, kind of a good break too, avoiding the washout. Gives up 3 pins a count, but he's not worried about that. He'll take the 3 pin count loss as long as he spares it up. They'll lead by 18, giving 5 back if Clifford spares this up in the 9th. If he gets 2 out here, it'll be just a couple pin game. Big spare for Robbins. Bowler of the Year race, all conference bowler of the year race. All these shots are huge, and he gets it. That is not the textbook way to convert that spare. Whoa! As his partner assaults him, as Clifford doesn't have to bowl anymore. Clifford doesn't have to bowl anymore, he's done, so Lucas figures, why don't he just take him out? Levity there for a big shot for Singh. Oh, and he gets the big break. That is back-to-back huge breaks for Singh and Perry. As Perry went high and rolled them all over, Singh goes right through the schnoz, and he gets them over. And game on. It is an 8-pin game, and they get 5 of them back. Singh and Perry trail by 3, headed into the 10th. With Ryan sitting pretty with 2 strikes working. It all comes down to their 10th frame. 6 hours of bowling, 4 proud and talented bowlers. 1 unfilled box. Here we go. a bad shot. Boy, they're playing such a tough part of the lane. They have to. There's nowhere else for that style of bowler to play. And a thin margin between a high hit and a washout right there, I tell you. All right, so they trail by 5 with the conversion. Obviously must have that conversion. Throws it and immediately turns around. Fill ball important because their opponents are working on a spare themselves. So it's very important to get 10 on the fill here because short counts are easily possible. You think this doesn't mean anything to the parents? That's Ryan's dad. He can't believe it over there. Way harder on the parents because they don't get the adrenaline release of actually throwing a bowling ball. Fill it up. All right. Well, it was a struggle, but it could be a winning score. That's 185 with their 5 pins. Lucas needs mark and good counts. 9 misses, not enough. No, 9 misses, not enough at all. Now a 4 count would be disaster. And he comes up with his best ball of the match to likely salt it away. Boy, you're watching a developing star in this young man here. Knowledgeable, determined. One of the prettiest physical games on tour. Not the big cranker ball, but you don't need that if you got all those other attributes. And what a great shot for all the money that was. Boy, and he's happy he doesn't have to shoot that now anyway, it doesn't matter. Game effort from Ryan and Sean, with the top seeds come away with the win.
Alright, JBT bowlers and parents, that wraps up a really exciting day of action here at Glenfair. Great stuff out of all of our finalists. Your runner-ups today, runners up today, did a great job. Give them a nice hand. Ryan Perry and Sean Singh Jr. Your mix-it-up champions capture their 4th and 2nd career JBT titles respectively. Lucas Rab and Cleve Ford, Robin